Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another 10 pens currently inked for this week. I think let's go through these briefly one by one. We'll go through them in a little bit more detail and then we'll do a writing sample. So from left to right is the Conway Stewart, and this is the King Charles III Coronation in sterling silver. We have the Onoto Platinum Jubilee in the overlay. We have a BENU Talisman, and this is the Tiger's Eye. We have a Mr. Cypress, and this is the Orchid Leaf Val B. We have a Mr. Cypress Eggshell 01, a Mr. Cypress Eggshell 05A, a Mr. Cypress Eggshell 06, a BENU Euphoria in the Bourbon, a BENU Euphoria, and this is in the Vodka on the Rocks, and then a BENU Euphoria in the New Year's 2023. So I think let's go through these in a little bit more detail. So this is the Conway Stewart, and this is the King Charles III Coronation pen. So you will see the head there, or the bust of King Charles III. This is a very nice sterling silver pen. I really do like the guilloche pattern that is going on around not only the cap there, but also the body of this pen. It's not a lightweight pen, but it's also not a weighty pen because it is a resin body and also cap with a silver overlay. It is cartridge converter. You can post the cap if you want to, but it's going to be very back weighted because you can see here the thickness of that cap there, of that silver. That's quite thick. It comes with a number 6 size Yovo Conway Stewart laser etched nib, and I got this in a medium 18 karat gold nib. It's actually a good size in my hand, but like I said, you can post it, but it's going to be very long, very back weighted. But these are actually really good pens, and it has a lot of threads here, but you have a cartridge converter there that you could see. It's got an ABS plastic feed there. But I do like this, and I have to say, I was concerned initially because I thought it was a short pen, and maybe it is short compared to some of the pens that I have in my collection. It's not massively short though, so for me, actually that was a good, not only a good review, but also a good buy as well. And then the next pen is the Onoto, and this is the Platinum Jubilee for Queen Elizabeth II. And I already have the sterling silver version of this pen, but I really like this black pinstripe version with the gold, sorry, the silver and gold overlay here on the cap. So for me, that was actually a good sort of addition to my collection. The pen itself is very lightweight because it is just resin. Comes with a number 7 size Onoto nib, and I got this in a medium. It is a cartridge converter. Was this a cartridge converter? I'm just trying to think. No, this was a plunger filler, but I have got a converter in here. But it did come with a plunger. And I just find that the cartridge converters are easier to clean. Now, this one, I do find though that the cap will not bite onto the end of the pen. It will just sit and spin. So I'm not really sure that this was designed to be posted. But honestly, it is a heavy cap. So I don't think you would want to post that because it really is quite heavy. So I have that one inked up with me this week as well. The next pen, which I've had inked up for a while, just like the Conway Stewart there, is the BENU Talisman in the Tiger's Eye. And I really do like the colours in this. It really does look like a tiger's eye. The cat's eye and the hawk's eye, I didn't think looked as much like the cat's eye, proper cat's eye or hawk's eye. But the tiger's eye, I really thought they nailed the colours here. So this was one that I did add to my collection. I prefer the Euphoria size because the Euphoria is a longer oversized pen. And I was worried about this, but I did try it out to start with at the London Autumn Pen Show last year, and I thought actually when I've got it in the hand like that, it doesn't look so bad. You can post the cap. I do prefer oversized pens. That cap actually feels very, very nice when posted. All BENUs are cartridge converters, at least at the moment anyway. I don't think that they really are looking to invest in pistons or plungers, because I think that will bump up the price a little bit, and I think they're trying to keep the prices within the range that they are, although clearly all pen prices are, like other commodities and products, are increasing. The next pen was this one, and this is a Mr. Cypress, and it's an Orchid Leaf Val B, and I really liked this. There were two versions of this. There was one slightly longer, which I didn't think the imprint looked as nice with, or there was this one, which really, really stood out with that imprint. So in the end, I decided to get the smaller version. I kind of kicked myself for not getting the larger version, the thicker version. But it's actually a decent size pen. It's got a number 6 size Mr. Cypress 14 karat gold medium nib. And if I hold it in my hand, it's not too bad. The section is a little bit on the thinner side. I can post the cap as well. It's not back weighted. It is Urushi, so I'm probably not going to post that cap just because it's Urushi and Urushi lacquer and maquille and all sorts. So, but it's a beautiful pen, and I have to say I do like that a lot. I just wish it was this size. If it was this size of pen, I would be 100% happy with it. But I like the colours, I like the gold leaf imprints on it, so I do like the pen. I just wish it was slightly larger. The next pen inked up this week is the Mr. Cypress. It's the Eggshell 01. And I was writing in a letter actually recently. I didn't think that this was an afterthought of a pen that I added to my collection. It wasn't the one that I really wanted. I was just looking for, dare I say it, gap fillers, where I just wanted another pen and I wanted another Eggshell or a Vodka pen. And I saw this one and I was like, yeah, I don't know. It kind of speaks to me, but it's also not as beautiful as maybe these two here. But you know what? This has grown on me so massively that it has become actually one of the favourites out of my Mr. Cypress pens. I don't know what it is, other than the nib writes perfectly. And I like the rod, and I like the black, and I like the duck's egg there on around the cap finial and the blind cap. I did get it with a Mr. Cypress number 6 size 14 karat gold medium nib, and these are all cartridge converters. Will they do a plunger or a piston? I don't know. I think probably not. I think a lot of these companies will just go with a cartridge converter. It is a flat top, so you can't post the cap. It's not designed to be posted at all. But it has become one of my favourite pens out of the Mr. Cypress range. I really do like it, and I don't know. I think it's just the contrast between the white, the black, and the Vodka, and how well it's been done. The next pen here is a Mr. Cypress, and it's the Eggshell 05A, and there was an A and a B, and the only difference was where the Vodka, like here's the cap break here. If I unscrew it, you can see, and it was really, I think the B was down here, the Vodka strips more, so it's a little bit more balanced. It's duck's eggs. It's a good size. It's a cylindrical pen. It's a flat end pen, so you can't post the cap. It's got a very beautiful glittery Vodka section there, with a number 6 size Mr. Cypress 14 karat gold medium nib, and you can see there in the size of my hand that is actually a really, really good size. So I have this one inked up, but just look at all of the eggshell and the abalone strips of Ardon there. It just really is a beautiful, beautiful pen. And I have to take my hat off to Mr. Cypress. They have got some really good artisans that are knocking out some of these pens. And I say knocking out, I don't mean they're mass producing them. I just mean that they're producing these pens one after another. There's only 5 normally in each of these designs, so each artisan will only do 5 pens normally. But they are gorgeous looking pens and pretty reasonable compared to some other pen manufacturer prices. Now, the next one here is a Mr. Cypress, and this is the Eggshell 06, which was the first Mr. Cypress I bought. And I didn't think I was going to buy 8 or 9 Mr. Cypress pens, but I did eventually. And I say 8 or 9, I can't remember how many it is now. I think it's 8 that I've got. But this is a beautiful pen. I really, again, love the effect on this pen here. It really is stunning. And again, affordable compared to, say, a Thatcher. So this has got a number 6 size Mr. Cypress nib. It's an 18 karat gold medium nib. So the first one here, I did get an 18 karat gold nib on. And why did I switch to 14 karat instead of 18 karat? Well, as I remember, I think the Bock 18 karat nibs were $180 US. I think the Yovo were $160 US. And then a Mr. Cypress 18 karat was 120. And then I think the 14 karat was $90 US. So that was the reason I just thought, you know what, I can save a little bit of money if I'm going to buy 8 of these, which I didn't think I was going to buy 8 of, but I thought if I'm going to buy quite a few of these, then I can almost save the cost of a pen by just switching to 14 karat gold nibs. And that was the reason why I did switch to 14 karat. Would I go back to 18 karat? Possibly, yeah. I like some of those 14 carats, but I also like the 18 karat. So I might go back to an 18 karat. I'll just have to wait and see. The next pen inked up is the BENU Euphoria in the Bourbon. And I always love this. It's a beautiful brown, whiskey bourbon coloured pen. And I do like this a lot, and have to say that it is a beautiful pen. I think BENU, they do go a little bit over the top with their glittery pens, but I think they are also quite attractive to some as well. So this comes with a steel Schmidt nib, and it's a fine nib there. But the Euphorias, I find, are a nice size. You can post a caps if you want to, but in the size of my hand, that is a really, really good size. They're all cartridge converter pens with ABS plastic feeds. But honestly, I don't think you can go far wrong with those. If you like a glittery pen, a pen that's going to stand out in your hand or on your desk, then certainly a BENU is going to do that. You can't say otherwise, really. The next pen inked up is the BENU Euphoria, and this is Vodka on the Rocks. And I just love this pen. I love the icy, cracked ice look of this pen. It just is mesmerizing. And I like that it reflects sort of silver and white, and then yellow, and then blue. It's got all of those colours here. If I just twist that there, you'll see all of those colours. It is a stunning pen, and I'm glad that I got this one. This, again, is a number 6 size Schmidt nib, and that is a fine nib. A little bit of nib creep there on that nib. It's a cartridge converter. You can post a cap again, and it's not back weighted, so you can easily do that. And you can also see a little bit of the converter here. There's a converter up to that point on the pen, so it is quite transparent or translucent, so you can see that through the body. And then the last pen inked up is the BENU Euphoria, and this is the New Year 2023 edition, and I always forget it's actually here. They made 500 of these, and this is $3.94. But I just love the stars that you've got. There's not a huge amount in the cap there. Maybe there is actually. You can see them there. There's a lot more here on the body that you can see. And I just love that effect. I love the green. I like the silver there. Again, I think BENU knocked this out of the ballpark. And this is a Schmidt nib, and this is I think it's a medium nib. To say it's a broad, it's a medium. And you can post the cap, obviously, on this one as well. And I do like this. Again, it's a cartridge converter, but I think for the price, the Euphorias, I think, are around about £150 euros dollars. So they are a little bit more than maybe like the Talisman, but I think they are worth that little bit extra money. So there you have it. That's my 10 pens currently inked for this week. I think let's now go and do a writing sample. So the first pen inked up today is a Conway Stewart, and this is the King's Coronation pen, or King Charles III Coronation. So I think let's do an ink swatch here. And I really find that this nib writes really nicely. It did have a little bit of burr on the left time, which I corrected. But let me zoom in a little bit more. But this now writes beautifully. It's a Conway Stewart. And it's the Coronation. And it's a medium, and it's an 18 karat gold nib. Which is actually made by Yovo. And then the ink in here is Diamine Earl Grey. But that is a beautiful ink for a beautiful pen, and I think I will probably have that one inked up in with Earl Grey all the time. At least when I re-ink the pen, it will be Earl Grey. The next pen is the Onoto Platinum Jubilee overlay. And we'll do an ink swatch here. Now, this is a wetter writing nib. Still a medium, but it's a Bock nib. So this is the Onoto, and it's the Platinum Jubilee overlay. And it's a medium, and it's an 18 karat gold nib by Bock. And then the ink in here is Diamine, but not Earl Grey, it's graphite, which you can see is quite a darker grey ink, almost bordering on black. The next pen inked up is the BENU Talisman in the Tiger's Eye. So we'll do an ink swatch. And this, you can see, it is a much broader nib. So this is the BENU Talisman Tiger's Eye. And it's a broad, and it's a steel Schmidt nib. And then the ink in here is Diamine Blaze Orange, which I am still liking in this pen. And I think I might just dedicate that ink to this pen. I've got several bottles of Diamine Blaze Orange, so I'm not going to run out anytime soon. The next pen inked up is the Mr. Cypress Orchid Tree Val B. So we'll do an ink swatch. And this is quite a fine nib, actually. So this is the Mr. Cypress Orchid Tree Val B. and it's a medium, and it's a 14 karat gold nib. And I just need to actually check the ink, because I'm just wondering about the ink in here. Yeah, it is Diamine Poppy Red. Because I know I had a different red ink in there at one point, and I wasn't sure if I'd actually gone back to using that ink. I didn't think I had, but I wanted to double check. The next pen inked up is the Mr. Cypress, and this is the Eggshell 01. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And I really love the colour of this ink. It really doesn't match much with the pen, but I kind of love it. So this is the Mr. Cypress, and it's the Eggshell 01, and it's a medium, and it's a 14 karat gold nib. And these nibs are actually by Conway in India. And then the ink in here is Pilot Iroshizuku Aji Sei, which is a very beautiful sort of almost a blurple colour ink, I would say. The next pen inked up is the Mr. Cypress, and this is the Eggshell 05A. We'll do an ink swatch, and you'll see here that this is quite a nice writing nib as well. So this is a Mr. Cypress Eggshell 05A in a medium, and it's a 14 karat gold nib. And the ink in here is Aurora and Klinger, and it's Verdura. But that is a nice green ink, and I do like it in that pen. The next pen inked up is a Mr. Cypress Eggshell 06. We'll do an ink swatch. And this was the first Mr. Cypress pen that I bought. So this is a Mr. Cypress Eggshell 06, and it's a medium, but this time it's an 18 karat gold nib. And the ink in here is Pelican Edelstein Appetite, which is a nice coloured ink. It's probably one I wouldn't normally buy, but I did do because it was the ink of the year, and I know how hard it is to buy those after they have sold out. The next pen inked up is the BENU Euphoria in the Bourbon. We'll do an ink swatch. And this is a fine nib. And as much as I like how this writes, I might just get a medium nib on this one. So this is a BENU Euphoria in the Bourbon, in a steel Schmidt nib. And as much, I do like writing with this pen because I typically write notes with it in a notebook, so a fine nib is actually quite nice for that. The ink in here is Diamine Ochre. But sometimes I kind of feel that I just want a medium nib. The next pen inked up is the BENU, and this is the Vodka on the Rocks Euphoria. So we'll do an ink swatch. And again, another fine nib. So this is the BENU, Euphoria, Vodka on the rocks in a fine steel Schmidt nib. And then the ink in here is a diamine graphite. But I think the darker grey there shows up nicely when writing with a fine nib. And then the last pen inked up is the BENU Euphoria, and this is the New Year 2023. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And this is a medium nib, and I think this is really what I would prefer. So this is the BENU Euphoria, and it's the New Year, or New Year's 2023, and it's a medium, and it's a steel Schmidt nib. And then the ink in here is KWZ Grass Green. But that is a lovely green coloured ink. So I think let's take a look at these pens inked up one more time. We have a Conway Stewart in the Coronation in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Earl Grey. We have an Onoto Platinum Jubilee overlay in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Graphite. We have a BENU Talisman Tiger's Eye in a broad steel nib inked up with Diamine Blaze Orange. We have a Mr. Cypress Orchid Tree Val B in a medium 14 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Poppy Red. We have a Mr. Cypress Eggshell 01 in a medium 14 karat gold nib inked up with Pilot Washizuku Aji Sei. We have a Mr. Cypress Eggshell 05A in a medium 14 karat gold nib inked up with Roar and Klinger Verdura. We have a Mr. Cypress Eggshell 06 in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Pelican Edelstein Appetite. We have a BENU Euphoria Bourbon in a fine steel nib inked up with Diamine Ochre. We have a BENU Euphoria Vodka on the Rocks in a fine steel nib inked up with Diamine Graphite. And then we have a BENU Euphoria New Year's 2023 in a medium steel nib inked up with KWZ Grass Green. So there you have it. That's my current ink pens for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye-bye.